something I actually Googled. It is, I just found out my partner's cheating. Now what? Hi, I am Ashlynn, the once betrayed.
I'm Coby, the once addicted.
And I am Brannon, the expert on betrayal, trauma, and sex addiction. So
we're here. He's the expert. We are the sadly experienced couple who are not there yet. We are continuing to do our own work and continuing through this journey. So I'm excited because we still have today left for those of you who are interested into stepping into your own healing. Brannon and I created a course for the betrayed, and it's called Beyond Betrayal, because we don't want you to just live with this heartache and live with it like this is my new life and this sucks. There's so much more beyond the hurt and the pain. And I'm not the only evidence of that. We have so many people that could share, if they could anonymously, and share that they've done the exact same thing, a different path, but the same healing has been done.
You know, Ashlynn, you say sadly the experienced couple, but I gotta say, you posted something, I think it was on Instagram. It was a picture of you from like 20 years ago compared to the picture of you now. And the amazing part of that post was the light in your eyes and just how different your eyes looked. You're in such a different place now than you were just swirling around in the craziness then. So
thank you.
You have healed, and recovery absolutely is real, and Ashlynn's a good example of that. But there are other examples of it. I do want to share a review of our new program, Beyond Betrayal. So
it's been out just a few days and people are already jumping in.
Yeah. So we're not going to share the name just for, anonymity, but this is what it says. It says, "Thank you. I don't think I realized how much I needed this course until I heard you literally describe me and how I've been feeling. I'm so excited for what I am about to embark on and what I will learn about myself and become. Thank you for putting your time into this for us." So you're welcome.
Yeah, I love that. We had lots of gals just jump right in and get started in the program. And it's beautiful to me to see them, one, excited, but also like commenting and doing the work, and saying, hey, I've tried other things, or been part of a recovery process for years. And I'm stuck in this place right here, and you're telling me how to get out. That's what's cool.
Yeah. And it's going to take a little bit of time for people to start working through this, but I can't wait. And I do totally expect women to come back and say, I am feeling different. There's been some hard things about working through this, some really challenging things, and I'm letting go. I'm not holding all this weight, and I'm moving forward. So I'm totally excited about this program, Ashlynn. We've talked about it a lot, and it's awesome to see a bunch of people jumping into it. So,
amen. All right, let's get started with the hard question that I did literally Google at the time, whether you found out on your own, whether someone's told you your partner is, having some type of infidelity, or your partner told you. It is a place of like, now what? I don't know what to do. What's the healthy way to show up? I'm certain I never showed up as Brannon, like a healthy Brannon would be proud of me way.
I don't know if I've met with one client that did initially show up that way.
Yeah. And then I've told Brannon this before, on your other podcast that Therapy Brothers I've listened to. I said, gosh, I wish I had listened to like this episode. I needed it a year ago.
Yeah.
But of course, at the time, I don't think I need it. And so I don't have the education in the moment. And so for some, this might be your first education. If you found this specific episode and you don't really know who we are or where we've been, this might be it. And I hope this is going to give you some good tools to step forward and to be brave and to answer that question.
Yes. So, what's funny, Ashlynn, is if my spouse has cheated on me, now what? One of the very initial first things that we do is we go ask Google that question. Um,
Because I want to
She
do it
did.
right.
She did.
I still did it
Right.
wrong.
And so I just want to say a warning here is Google, you can find all kinds of answers. You can find the right answers. You can find the wrong answers. So be careful about what you start to digest and what you start to trust as trusted sources to move forward through betrayal. Because, go ahead.
I was just say that's so important because right here, that fracture of finding out the person that you are love and connected to is cheating or in some way. It's all of a sudden, I don't know up from down. I don't know truth from error. Like, how do I know? And so I like that you point that out because, yeah, I could look at some article on some website and take that as this is exactly what I should do. And it could cause a lot more damage.
Yeah, so let me just speak to what to look for in order to trust the source. So because one of the first things that you'll do is say, "Oh my gosh, what do I do now?" Um, and so what you want to find is somebody with a track record of helping people. We share these reviews. We don't just share these reviews because they're good for our podcast or whatever. They actually build credibility, and every review that we've ever shared is absolutely authentic and real. And so what that shows is that people are actually getting helped. And when they listen to our podcast, same thing with a therapist or a platform that you find online. You want to find reviews that resonate with you, and examples of people that they have actually helped. Okay. So when you start to seek out information, look for that. Okay. So that's one place to start. I want to back up a little bit. If you just found out, you could be in an interesting place because maybe you just found out about the affair and your partner doesn't even know that you know about the affair. So you're in this kind of weird place of knowing that everything in your life is going to change, knowing that things have to change in order for you to move forward in your life and in your relationship. And before we speak to finding the right help and getting educated, the first thing you need to do is realize that you're probably in some shock. You're crisis mode. It's traumatic. And people respond differently during a trauma than other people. So you might be a really calm person who can regulate your emotions, make good decisions. You might not be. You might totally freak out, want to do all kinds of crazy stuff, get stuck in panic attacks and anxiety. And you could go a lot of different ways with all of the emotions that are coming up because you just found out about the affair. And that's totally normal. Your world is changing. This is trauma, right? So, Ashlynn, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm listening to that going, all the things. And because I think for most women who've been in this place, you become someone that you've never been maybe before. Because we all think if I were in that situation, this is how I would show up, or I
Yeah.
would never do that. And then that situation hits us like a ton of bricks.
When it's reality.
Yeah. And sometimes we don't show up as our best self and with all the tools. So I didn't have a ton of tools when this all happened. And so for me, my best self was, I mean, I just showed up in anger for a long time,
Right.
or critical, those types of things. So yes.
No, and we could judge you, Ashlynn, and say that was bad. You shouldn't have showed up that way. That wasn't helpful for anybody. It's not helpful to judge that. It's not helpful to say should have, would have, could have. What is helpful is self-compassion to say, I did show up that way. I showed up that way for a reason. I was doing the best that I could. And what I felt was valid and real for me. Coby, you're shaking your head. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, there's just no question that Ashlynn deserved to feel everything that she felt. Like everything that you felt with both affairs was totally, totally valid.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you had every right to feel all that. And I guess that's one of the, I guess the things that I'll say on this is, having been on the other side of the person who had betrayed, if I could go back, I would go back and just give Ashlynn a chance to really just to sit there with Ashlynn while she felt it.
Yeah.
And you might not have been in a place where you even wanted me to be around, which is okay. But at some point in time after sharing it, to be there and just say everything you're feeling is totally valid and you have every right to feel it. That is super, super important. So give yourself a chance to feel everything you're going to feel. Don't judge it. Just be in it, because you have to go through it in order for it to not like stick to you and follow you.
So for our listeners, I hope you understood what Coby just did. So Coby was the betrayer. Okay. The normal reaction of the betrayer when you feel hurt or angry or frustrated after they've betrayed you is they either want to fix it, they want to change it, they want to tell you how over the top you are, or how you're acting like a victim, or they want to do that.
I want out.
Or I'm out of here.
Too.
I'm bailing.
Let's just get divorced.
Fine. I'm hopeless.
Mm-hmm.
And what Coby just said to Ashlynn was, it's absolutely okay that you felt what you felt. You had a right to feel it. And you weren't crazy for feeling it. Okay. So that's coming from the ex-betrayer, I'll call you, the old douche, right?
Indeed.
But the point being, what Coby's saying is, yes, stop and just let yourself feel. No matter what your partner says, no matter who gives you permission, a therapist, whoever, you are experiencing something and you're feeling pain. So you're gonna feel emotion around that. Okay. So feel the emotion. Then what? Where do we go from there, Ashlynn?
You know what? I think there can be a fork in the road right here. You can tell me if I'm wrong, Brannon, but I see people in my situation either tell everyone, like, I'm going to call all my people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell them how awful and I can't believe this is happening, right? And I need to be heard, or I don't know what to do. Help me. Or you do what I did and you just hold it all inside and lash out on everyone around me, which neither are great.
Right.
And so I don't know. Tell me what the healthy thing to do is, because I definitely didn't do it. That first time, especially, told no one.
So you isolated. So that you can withdraw and isolate, or you can blast it out to the world and really just like tell everybody, and for a lot of different reasons. One, to get back at him. Two, to just like need to process it. And there's
support,
Okay, but there's a middle ground there, Ashlynn. You do need support. And the middle ground is to stop and really take stock in who has earned the right to hear my story, who will be a good support to me. I don't want somebody who's going to, help me stay stuck. I don't want somebody who's going to try to fix this. I want somebody who will listen, who will hold me accountable for my own stuff, who will love me and hold space for me. That's what I need. So I'm going to take a step back and just really search for, who are those friends? Who are those family members? Maybe I don't have any. Maybe I need to go find some at a good recovery group or a good 12-step group. But I need support, because I need to start talking about this. I need to start processing this, and I need love and support right now. So you don't need to go, out to the world and broadcast it everywhere, but isolating and withdrawing will keep you stuck too. So find support and talk about it. That's the next step.
It's interesting that could be the Google that does serve you, is go find a group or go find something, right? It's interesting because when Coby told me about the second affair, we were already into a specialized recovery program. So I already had a therapist. I already had a group that I could go to. But in that moment, that day, I called what really was an acquaintance at the time, and I didn't call people that were close to me. I didn't call my group. I didn't call
Right.
because I knew that person, like what you said. I mean, I really had to like think who's someone that I feel safe with, who's someone that's not going to judge Coby. Because you can know,
Right.
easy enough to say he's a jerk, leave him, do all the things, throw stuff out, or judge me. Because
Right.
there's a lot of the betrayal is like, I'm embarrassed. Like, I'm not the wife that kept her husband home. Like, he went out somewhere else. So,
But Ashlyn, you needed to have like really trusted your gut. I
yeah,
mean, think about that. To make a phone call to an acquaintance about something so personal,
yeah.
but your gut was saying that's the person. That's the person who can actually help me. And you probably, I would guess, you probably forged a much closer
Oh, yeah.
relationship because of that. Um,
She's my best friend now. And
there you go.
I've been there for her. She's been there for me. And yeah, I put her in kind of a weird spot, but she absolutely stepped into it.
But your
And
gut was telling you she was the one to
all
call.
she did, she wasn't like, what's her name? Tell me, like some people definitely have done, or is Coby this? Does that mean this? There wasn't a lot of questions she was asking. She really just listened. I think I sat in her car. We drove to a parking lot and for like 3 hours, and I just cried and told her
Yeah.
information. And then she's like, do you want me to take you home? Where do you want, she was just there.
Yeah. Okay. So let's keep moving along. Once you catch your breath and realize that you're feeling pain, or feeling sadness or anger or whatever you're feeling, then you reach out, you get support. Then the next step is to start to you start to gain your bearings a little bit once you're talking to people, and processing through some of this stuff. The next step is to really educate yourself and to start to create some safety for you, to know that, look, if I was cheated on, that could happen again. And if it happens again, I'm going to be able to move forward. I'm going to be able to be safe. My own recovery is going to be in place. So you start down that process of gaining some safety. You gain it through getting educated, learning some tools, having a support system that's going to back you up, having healthy boundaries that will support you in your recovery, regardless of their addiction or their infidelity. I just crammed in like
I know.
a few months worth of work into a few sentences there.
So the next day you're going to do all these things. No,
Ba-doom. Yeah, no.
that's the hard part. I'm like sitting going, dang, yeah, like that's ideal, 100%. And I think the podcast obviously gives a lot of great education, and it's not meant to go in order. It's like skip around and listen to what speaks to you as an individual. My question is this. Okay, ideal situation was like ours where we go, I need help. I'm going to find it. And we find specialized help and
Right.
support, and we have all that. What if I'm the person who is reaching out and I clicked Google, I found this episode, I don't know what to do. I mean, what if I found out and I haven't actually approached my spouse yet? Is that something I should do without having a support group or a therapist or something? Is there a healthy way of doing that?
Well, I mean, what I would do is before I would go, nuts on my partner over things, I would try to get my bearings. I would reach out to people in my life who maybe have some knowledge about betrayal, trauma recovery. Or, if I'm brand new at this, like I'd find some podcasts or I'd read some blogs, and I okay, what do I do? How do I handle this in the best way? And then once you kind of gain that education, you got your bearings, then go approach it and deal with it. So, yeah, it's a hard thing to do because you'll be in your emotional mind, and you want to just respond. You just want to deal with it right now, but to just slow down. I think, as I'm thinking Ashlynn and Coby, like, as I'm talking about betrayal, trauma, recovery, and it's like, if you've been cheated on, you need to do this, and this. The fact of the matter is, and the reason why this conversation doesn't totally work is that recovery is absolutely a one day at a time process. And so one day you might gain a little education. Another day you might add a support person to your recovery. Another day you might learn a tool to deal with feelings of rejection and abandonment. And as you kind of piece this all together, you look back and you start to realize, I'm not going to die from this. I'm going to be okay. I can move forward. And so it's not necessarily just a checklist, boom, 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 and then you're going to be okay. It's a process one day at a time.
Yeah. And I love that you said that, because I think if you're here listening as someone who's been betrayed, it feels so heavy to carry. Your partner, maybe they told you and they've unloaded this really heavy backpack and said, here, you get to carry it now. I feel better. This weight is off me. And you're thinking, I don't even know how to hike. Like, you're asking me to carry this backpack up this mountain. I don't even know. And so it is, I was telling my group this morning, I need like a little temporary tattoo to remind me, we all do, of stay in the day.
Yeah.
Stay in the day, because when we jump forward and think this is never going to work, what if they never get help? What if, that doesn't serve us? And if we jump to the regrets and I should have known better, all those things, it's part of the process. But if we stay in that, we're staying stuck and just living in that. How is this my life? So
Yes.
It's interesting listening to this, because the thought, like what you guys just shared, of recovery is a day-to-day decision, and it's a day-to-day decision as far as a process is concerned. We have to take it day-to-day. And what's interesting about that is there's never any to think that in a day, in a week, in a month, that something as devastating as infidelity in various forms could be fixed or removed, or the pain of that could be just extracted from a relationship or from an individual's heart, is not even close to reality.
No.
And yet, when, like, culturally, we're in this place of, if it hurts, then let's fix it. If it's broken, let's cast it. If it's bleeding, let's stop that. And the truth is that our souls, our hearts, do not operate the same way as our physical bodies do. And remember that our hearts really operate underneath the law of the universe. Well, one of the laws of the universe, which is really the law of the harvest. And I know that sounds like super cheesy, but the truth is if you understand that the betrayal that you're feeling, the hurt that you've experienced, the pain that you're in, if you understand that it now necessitates a change within you because of the wounds that you have, rather than something that your partner needs to just go take care of, then your expectations will be such that it's going to be a process, and I do have to just focus today, rather than try to wish there was something to just remove it from me.
Coby, I love what you just said. And I want to kind of make a point off of what you just said, which is I'll say it this way. How dare you tell me that, I now need to change because I've been hurt. And, with the question, my partner just cheated on me, now what? The last thing I want is, one, a recovering addict to tell me that I've got to change now. Right? Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
1,000%.
Okay. So now let me make the point that I want to make off of what Coby just said, which is, and this is just a hard reality. When something hard gets put in front of us in our lives, whether it's betrayal, whether it's a car accident or bankruptcy or whatever it is, no matter what it is, no matter whose fault it is, no matter how it came to be, we have an opportunity to figure out how we're going to face it. We have an opportunity to grow from that thing, to learn from it, to be challenged by it, or we have an opportunity to choose not to. We can actually decide not to deal with the hard, not to face the difficulty. And so what Coby's saying is absolutely true. It's just really hard to hear, especially with betrayal, especially when it's like, no, they did this. I'm not the one. I'm not the one who's been hurt here. So when I'm very first hurting because somebody has done this to me, don't you dare tell me that I have to face this. Yet in that facing it, that's where the magic happens. That's where the really good stuff happens for the betrayed. That's where the blessings come from this horrible thing that has come into their life. Correct? Is that
It
accurate?
is. It is. And it's, I think you're right on with, no one ever wants to hear when they're in the hardest thing of their life that it's going to be this huge, story you can share that will help your posterity
Yay.
gain faith and
Yeah.
all these things, right? Like we can make change and it can be beautiful. We're not even saying your marriage or partnership can stay together. We're saying healing is the message that we're giving you today.
Yes.
Healing yourself and your pain. The idea of, I have very little regrets, but I hate and regret that the first time I found out about Coby's affair, it was an emotional affair. And for most people, an emotional affair sounds like, why the heck would you care? For me, I had a husband who was looking at pornography and then was choosing someone emotionally. It was painful, and it's my reality, and my pain is my pain. And when I went to comparison and said, I shouldn't be feeling this because someone's telling me, at the time it was a therapist and a religious leader saying, hey, you need to get over this. Like he didn't go and he didn't have an actual affair. Stop feeling this way. It didn't work for me.
Right.
I regret not stepping into that. I didn't have to change, right? But I had to heal. And part of
Yes.
my healing, I created change. So
Right.
it's not that I went into it saying I need to change who I am. I'm the problem. No.
But your pain also perpetuated this way of no. Your healing, excuse me. Your healing perpetuated this lifelong change of a growth mindset.
Yeah.
I mean, because you saw how all kinds of study and work on yourself made such a huge difference internally. But it wasn't just like, it started out as like, I've got to heal from this, but it's become something so much more vast and broad.
Yeah. It's
than that,
interesting. I think
which is amazing.
the stuck me, I looked like this. I was the opposite of me now. I was a pessimist, and Coby would tell me all the time, you always see the negative. I talked about people like crazy, gossip. I was never happy for people. Like when I saw people on my social media who were on vacation or who were celebrating something great, I was like, I hate them.
Is jealousy.
Yes, I was not happy. We couldn't have kids for, the first 8 years of our marriage. Do you think I was happy when my friends or my siblings got pregnant?
Right.
No.
Right.
It took me a long time to say, hey, I don't like who I've become. I don't like that I'm this mean person, and I have shifted. And it does take effort for me because it was a part of me for so many years to be that person. I became someone I am not. And so for me now, my biggest compliment is when people are like, you're so positive. Oh, da, da, da. And I'm like, thank you, because I was told I wasn't for so long.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's healing. I mean, I know we've talked about beyond betrayal a lot, and beyond betrayal is actually great if you've just found out that your partner has cheated on you.
Yeah.
Get it now. Start right now. And the some of the things that we have you go through in there, they're activities that are designed to process the pain. And and to get on the other side of that pain. They're deep, they're real, they're challenging assignments, and they will bring you relief. As you go through the gamut, the whole process that Ash and I have laid out there, I promise you at the end of it, if you really put your heart into it, you'll look at it and you'll say, you know what, like I can heal. I know what healing feels like, and I can be on the other end of this. And Ash and I, we didn't shy away and make it some, just rainbows and butterflies program. It's a real program that pushes you through that process. And you'll start to, as you get on the other side of it, realize, oh, like this is what's really shifting inside of me, because I've been through this experience. I'm facing the hard things, and I'm, like Ashlyn's talking about being kinder and more loving to people. You'll find little things like that about yourself that will shift because you're going through this really hard thing in your life.
Yeah. And it's interesting you say, like, if you just found out, it is a really great program for you. Amen to that. And had I had that, I would have loved it, because I look at it and I think I have Brannon, who's my expert, leading the way, right? And giving me these videos or audio, however you choose to watch the program. And then you have me over here who's saying, hey, and this is the experience I've had. And then these worksheets to say, okay, get to work. Now put into like, don't just go to therapy, like go and do something, right? Like,
Yes.
A lot of us want to go to therapy and then we're like, but they didn't give me anything to do. I want to do, right? We're giving you the feeling, but also some doing, so that you
Yes.
can get to the place of beyond the hurt. It's
Absolutely.
a self-guided, so it's not like a 6-week program and hey, in 6 weeks you're going to feel great. It might be a long process for you. We have people in our previous program that it's a couples program who they've gone through it, I think 3-4 times, because they choose to just like, okay, let's make sure we've got this module down on intimacy, or let's go on this one. This can be the same thing for you.
Yes.
This can be something that you step into to process the pain, to start finding your voice again, and then say, you know what, I'm feeling a little wonky right now. Maybe my ground's a little shaky. I'm going to go back and I'm going to do this one again. This program is for you individually as a woman. This is not for a couple. So there is a bonus section, like what's his part in this, but that's not required. And so it's really a beautiful program, not based on where your relationship is at, whether you're in a relationship and your partner is working on themselves or not, whether you're out of a relationship and into a new one or not. This program can help you find that healing.
Right. I just want to say, to wrap this up, if you just found out that you're being cheated on, that sucks. And I'm sorry. That really sucks. And it's not what you expected in your life. But I also want to say that you're not alone. We got you. We love you. We're here for you. There's other people out there who have experienced similar things. You have a road ahead of you, but as you work that process, you're going to be okay. You can make it through this, and you're going to be stronger because of it, because you're willing to step into it and deal with it. If you're listening to this podcast and you've gotten to the very end of it, of us talking about all this stuff, that means that you do want to heal. It means you want to absorb, you want to learn, and you want to go through this.
Yes. And I'm just going to welcome you now to the Best Worst Club ever. But you're going to find the best people here. It's hard to make relationships in your adult years. And I've made some of the best friends of my life in my adult years because of this. So don't be afraid. Get the support that you need. Keep listening to the podcast. We give a lot of great, and it's all free information here. All right. Thank you guys. Thanks for being here.
See you guys.